By the way, I'd like to thank UCLA, Google, YouTube, Metro piece of shit, T-Mobile, and all the other people who decide when it's time to edit Kurt's broadcast or screw this technology because he might be talking too much. I have been on this campus on and off over the last 4 decades, since '83 when I first came out here on an undercover news assignment for NBC Nightly News, working with the department, unknowingly working with the Department of Justice, FBI at the time. Later disclosed to me that's what part of the mission was about, dealing with RICO and other violations. They had me flying on while helping to run the network in Chicago, consulting, installing computer and research systems, as I did at NBC, ABC, CBS, Transtar, Unistar. I was a computer guru, self-taught genius who helped write code and develop research and scheduling and flow and other technologies that are still used today. Working with RCS, working with Steve Casey and DV and Bob Mowney and a lot of genius minds. Andy Economos, people who were very good at what they did. I've been blessed to work with some of the brightest minds on the planet. At UCLA, I first came here to work with who became a dear friend for a period of time near the end of his life, in his later years, after being chastised and ostracized in his life. Boy, I know what that shit's like. In fact, he even planned his death on my birthday, May 31st. I was there for his funeral. It's a rather close friend. And we microdosed away Dr. Timothy Leary. I was part of the real Jason Bourne CIA microdosing drug testing that is being used by executives on Wall Street, some of your high-end stockbrokers, probably even in the White House, because you perform at much higher levels on LSD, which is a natural, not a synthetic. Why do we make so many natural things, like cocaine that used to be used in Coca-Cola and in most medicines of the time, until they thought it was making white women sleep with black men and other things. Hearst thought his lazy Mexican employees were smoking too much dope, and Strauss wanted it out because it was stronger than Levi's, and Dow wanted it out because it would screw with their patent for nylon rope that pales in comparison to hemp. So there were many people who lobbied to get hemp off the market, and also the drug companies, because they can't keep over-medicating you and make you dumb and sheeple and fat and stupid, taking their pills and getting sicker and sicker and eventually dying. The goal of the pharmaceutical industry is not to get you well, it's to get you on maintenance. That's how they make money. They don't make money in healing. If you're cured, you don't need their medicines anymore. As an expert in research, from audience research to medical research to herbal research to aerospace research to telephony, VPN, audio video streaming, technologies that I have personally had my hand in and helped develop, so you can use your credit cards on the internet, so you can text message each other and voice message each other, so you can stream audio and video on your phones and on your devices via everything from dial-up to DSL to OC3 to network broadcast via satellite. For the last 6 decades, more than 6 decades, I've had my fingers. Since a child, I had science kits and was experimenting with science, chemistry, and my own home labs. I did electronics and engineering, building stuff with Radio Shack and Tandy, and building phone couplers, and dialing into the Library of Congress for presidents, senators, or others sitting in the living room who needed to have stuff pulled down off a party line on dial-up circuits in the 60s, and then having it seized by the FBI because they didn't like the fact that I had dial-up codes and was dialing in after the president left and mommy went to bed because some of the rhetoric they were publishing didn't meet an advanced 6th grade education, which I was always schooled by labor leaders and groups who came to lobby, because my mother was the chairman of the political party and a third generation Kennedy related to the White House at Camelot. You have a genius IQ, will get you to work for them either through indentured slavery or property known as service. You are property. And if they say stand down, you better do it, or they'll discredit you, they'll disown you, they'll take away your pensions, your benefits, they'll make you hungry, they'll make you homeless. They'll even kill you if that's what it takes to get you to shut the fuck up. It is much sadness because of all the great memories I've had here, even in dealing with germ warfare, and pesticide contamination, toxicity levels, where someone would kill me for some of the stories that I've done over helping to get Ali North exposed for the arms for hostages by finding the underground dumping grounds where they were shipping out the arms in cities like Washington, D.C., and 20 stories or more below Grand Central Station, where a book has been written about the mole people. That's really true. Or Plantex plant, Amarillo, Texas, 20 miles deep, 60 miles wide. Or NORAD, meeting President Carter there after he'd been elected, 5 miles underneath the planet in the Rocky Mountains. I've been to places most people will never have access to, including being cleared to walk from underground in the White House or the Senate to either or, unescorted with camera gear, and yes, because of my clearance levels, even when I was working at the networks, which most network people didn't even know I had that kind of clearance. I've held diplomatic status and have been on foreign missions for the White House, the State Department, for embassies. I've done missions to India, I've done missions to the Middle East, I've done missions to Central America, I've done missions to Europe, Eurasia, Asia. There's been a lot of places I've been on stuff. I've been the voice for foreign prime ministers, for world leaders, on March Arab, to name one of many, the Turkish government, and have been blessed to know more things than most people will ever care to know, and cursed. Some of the stuff I didn't ever want to know, I'm glad I do in hindsight, but how I was made to learn it, like how to survive in the middle of a CIA drug war in the jungle where I could be shot by an 8-year-old with an AK-47, or taken prisoner and have a finger cut off and sent back to America, and see how many millions they pay for the rest of the body. I've done my 3 life sentences in foreign prisons for trying to tell the truth about what really goes on behind the scenes with military and cartels. I have done multiple sentences, including life sentences here in the United States, while being sent in on undercover matters by my government. Thank you, Ed, much more, you motherfucking lying piece of shit prick. I heard you got your ass kicked out of the FBI for fucking with me for so many years. When I finally went screaming to the White House and other people about your indigenous bullshit. Brother, don't ever let me see the shadow of your face again. You're a terrorist. You should go straight to hell. That army prison up in the cold, frozen north, where you don't get out alive and you scream for humanity to spare your ever-loving soul. You deserve a place like that. Right alongside Donald Trump and Putin and Tukinchu and a lot of other terrorists and governments around the world. And then, this year, There's been several snaps with UCLA where you've breached my HIPAA, you've falsely incarcerated me when I'm helping on police investigations with your own campus police at UCLA, and seized, which I had licenses for, cannabis and cannabis products, had me in jail, seized my products, never returned it, wrongfully took it, accused me of trying to sell on campus, which I wasn't. I was smoking on campus, not selling. It wasn't even gifting. But more recently, around Father's Day, after I had been assaulted wrongfully by LAPD, who had already taken millions from me and had just done another hit that cost me another passport with multiple identities, which I legally hold through the State Department with diplomatic status, so I can travel under my multiple identities, like Kurt Kelly, Joseph Cronin, Edward James, etc. I have so many different identities on file with SIEZURE, it makes me want to vomit. Thanks to other terrorists who have used my name and identity and then changed some variations, which added new identities. Thank you, you selfish little pricks. You will have your day in hell for that. But more recently, when LAPD had jacked me again, and already have been asked after blowing the whistle on the Russian global hack of intelligence back about 5 years ago, which, by the way, the FBI is now calling me, wants to talk about that and the stuff with the UN from 5 years ago. Robin DiMaggio and Ken Green and some of you other slovenly swine who commit extortion, RICO, imposter that you work with the UN or government when you don't, and fleece people of millions of dollars, which got me into a multi-million-dollar lawsuit, and I never took a dime of the money and told the investor, told you guys, told you and told everybody I was pulling out, and everyone should, because I found out it was fraud. And I was told I was blind and full of shit, and the old man invested and then sued me for elderly abuse and a bunch of other stuff. Thanks, Robert McCarthy. Also, you piece of slimy dog shit. And your boss at Capital over at Encino, the company you worked for. You greedy pricks knew it was fraud. I told you it was fraud. My attorneys told you it was fraud. My accountant told you it was fraud. Everybody in my organization told you it was fraud. And you still convinced the little old man to put the $1 million on the table. Getting sued for it. I only did one appearance and said, if you don't take me off the hook, I'm going to sue everybody, including... Eventually, it was dropped from me, but is that even part of public record? Or is it just that I was sued for elderly abuse and fleecing a little man out of money where I never even took a dime and lost over $250,000 myself in the deal? You'll pay for your sins, all of you. Whether the Department of Justice catches up with you or not, I will between now and the end of infinity, and you will answer for it. And you'll pay in full, penalty, interest, retribution, your soul, whatever it takes to make me whole again. Because I'm tired of being sodomized by people. Because I know too much, I have too much, I've had enough. You're getting old, you don't have a family, you don't have kids, you don't need it anyway. And all the other bullshit excuses I hear from people when I'm being jacked. But then after being robbed by LAPD for another $100K, intellectual property, money, cannabis and other things that were legally mine. Because they didn't like me blowing the whistle. And they didn't like the State Department, DSSPII, Interpol PI already told me to go off grid and vanish because of what I knew over the whole Russian hack and then the election hack and other intel that I was providing. Even got to the point where I was told by the White House and the FBI that I could only talk to the White House regarding anything to do with the Russians or counterterrorism or counterintelligence by both administrations. Obama, who introduced Trump and helped arrange for things, and the Bushes who were involved behind the scenes, who helped get that Russian money, stole our Tower 3 that went down when we imploded those 3 towers. Yeah, we did that to ourselves, so we could start a war. Listen, I don't give a shit what propaganda you read or what jerk-off news you read. I know what the real news is. I only report on factual stuff that there's hard evidence to support, that I've done my research and that I know to be true. I don't get paid to twist propaganda like ABC, NBC, CBS, who have so much Illuminati ownership and influence, you can't squat the P right there. Or, you know, Shelley Hoffman, who's a senior producer at the Today Show, where I got all that exclusive interview and footage with Casey Kasem's kids, as I've known Casey since, I don't know, the 70s when I was working at ABC. And had dinner with him and his wife several times when I moved out here to work for ABC in Los Angeles. And, well, Ashley Reel at ABC 2020 and ABC Nightly News, who also squashed the stories in the hack, whose daddy used to sit in my living room when he was running for U.S. Senator of Michigan, Donald Regal. Don, if anybody has the balls to show this to you, my mother, Irene Mary Gardner Kennedy Cronin, Sheboygan, Michigan, ring any bells, brother? Or the fact that I've sat in your office and you handed me passes so I could walk in the underground tunnels because you had so much respect for my integrity in news and factual broadcasting. Until things went a little nuts with the LA North thing and I demanded certain things that you guys had to do that I wouldn't the world down under and do a live broadcast from your dumping grounds and military installations. I think that was our snapping point, wasn't it? But you did move forward on it, not the way we discussed, but I remember sitting very vividly in your office across from your desk in the Senate building. Don, pick up the phone and call me. Try and save your daughter's ass because she's guilty of treason, suppression of evidence, accessory after the fact, as this Hoffman, Shelley Hoffman. Shelley, I've known you since childhood. I'm the reason you got into broadcasting. I'm the one who got you a foot in the door in broadcasting, and then you bend me over and butt-fuck me because NBC said they didn't want to break the story. And I also gave you the story about what really happened with the Malaysian planes and where they really landed, and they didn't fall apart and disintegrate and disappear off the map. It was all part of a CIA Black Door Ops thing to get the terrorism in fear and help support our subsidized, with the help of the 14 allied nations, with Israeli security intelligence systems and Israeli Security Intelligence League. Oh, I'm sorry, ISIS and ISIL. I forgot to, supposed to say it that way. Subsidized by all 14 of the allied nations. Or how about Aziz Ajar? Aziz, buddy. I've busted my ass for you. I've come over and taught classes in voiceover, television, film, and acting, where you've made a shit ton of money on, and you made a shit ton of money on my voice, even having coming in and being the voice on special projects going to the White House, where I was the voice for Unwant the Rep and others. And then you boned me on a session where you kept rescheduling because the client didn't get you the copy, and I told you I was being billed studio time, and you never reimbursed me, and I had to eat it. And that's the last time we worked together, after years of working together, buddy. Dude, you not only owe me money, you owe me a phone call. Or I guarantee you, you'll never be coming to the U.S. again as a free man, because you won't leave this country a free man if you come here ever again, unless we resolve these differences. I'm not going to be extorted, slandered, terrorized. Melissa English, you piece of dog shit. You enraged Hollywood at me and slandered me all over town after I gave you a break and got your foot in the door here, and you fucking cunt cost my company how many hundreds of millions of dollars with your slanderous lies and your bullshit and your false intelligence and voice recognition program that in real time and forced your way into an LA Times interview that blew an interview for me where I was going to be a exclusive story because you stirred up so much shit with the LA Times they canned the story because of you. Girl, if you were hand me $100 million today, you would only be beginning to scratch the surface of what you cost me and my companies personally. And that's not a joke. UCLA. I'm being beaten and robbed by LAPD and have a groin hernia. And then on Father's Day, being beaten and robbed by several of those terrorist snitch bitches where cops could never respond to a 911 call at MacArthur Park or the train station below or down at 9th Street Station or any one of the stops I kept getting off of because terrorists kept jumping and threatening me and then assaulting me on train stations. The video footage is there with the MTA. You know about it because I went up and talked to the duty officers in charge of Santa Monica PD in between assaults, and you never got a unit down to help me. Brutally beaten to the point that they were rest in peace, Kurt Kelly, because I was bleeding out so bad that day. And then I come to UCLA trying to get a groin hernia dealt with, multiple contusions, concussions, and bleeding out, and was delayed for hours and stalked by employees of UCLA. And eventually an employee spits in my face as he's kicking me out of the emergency room. Then lies on police reports and has me arrested by UCLAPD. I spend the night in jail, freezing my ass off and being literally tortured. Then released in the morning and told that you were probably going to let the charges go away where I spit in his face. Listen, assholes, you better find the fucking footage, because I just got out of a third arrest and several rounds of jail and hundreds and hundreds of thousands more in lost assets when cops arrested me and wouldn't even all these bullshit arrests. Good idea, because this is going to go to federal court. I'm a federal contractor, and I'm going to butt fuck you guys in federal court if you don't get this expunged and pay me in full.
All right, just have a seat.
No, I'm not. You got about 2 minutes to get them out here, and then I'm going to go ape shit nuts publicly. Live television. I'm really pissed off. I don't have to sit down on a fucking thing you people tell me. You guys violated my rights. You committed a fucking felony and federal law violation. And I know you sitting at that desk can hear me. You're actually a criminal accessory.
Hey, sir, you just have a seat. I'll be with you in a minute.
No, I'm not having a seat, and I'm not going to wait a minute. This is not going to take long. You're going to be in federal court, and I'll sue you as a criminal accessory. So don't take too long jacking off in the bathroom, asshole. I'm a federal contractor, and you broke federal law. So get your ass back here and give me your card.
Yeah, you keep cussing at me, and you're just going to get kicked out of my station. So
I don't give a shit if you should, sir. I'm telling you, you broke federal law. If you don't get, they're going to go to federal prison. Guarantee it, asswipe. Take the piece of shit. Excuse me. Please, could you come to the window? I need you to take your case number down and give it to the captain. Evelyn, I'll sue the shit out of you in federal court if you don't get off your ass. You are on live television. Okay, sit there and be dumb. Fuck you, cunt. You have been formally notified under federal law. Lopez. You little bitch. You fucking arrogant, pompous assholes. You think you can fuck with people? No, not a chance in fucking hell. Hi, is this Evelyn? Is this the police station? Good. Watch commander on duty right now. Oh, that piece of shit who just told me I'm going to have to sit and wait for his dumb ass? Tell you what, who's your captain? Who is the chief? Who runs your campus police?